Hi everyone. Wanted to introduce my channel and explain a few basic things about what you'll find here. Well, I'm making videos with the main intention to present perspectives on art and making art and the practice of developing and honing your skills. Presenting all this in a way that allows you to have your own unique process and experience. It's easy to go to art school or teacher and be heavily influenced by their perspectives and their ideas of how to do things, and I intend on doing quite the opposite. My videos are here to inspire and empower you with yourself by basically just saying that it's easier than it might seem. Insurmountable, overwhelming things are pretty basic. Sometimes we just need a little encouragement and a little perspective and just some guidance on how to get through it and how to see where it's going and how to see through the process. The difficulties, the confusions, a lot of confusions in making art. Such an abstract thing. It's not a basic thing like want to build a house and you just need a roof and a floor and walls and things like that. Making art, you can make anything. Where do you start? And if you are stuck in a way of doing things, a routine, some way you've learned something and you just can't seem to break out of it, and you feel unsatisfied with the limitations of the style or whatever it may be, I hope to be able to offer perspectives and inspiration to explore something different some way, to guide just a bit off the path, off the track, and lead you into a random direction where you can explore yourself. Because I had to do that myself. I was stuck in a way of doing things in the art form of graffiti that's limited by drawing letters and words. And I went from it being a limitation to eventually, through my exploration, coming back to realizing, seeing how it can be used as just a structural foundation, along with the freedom to allow it to be whatever and make it a more satisfying experience and more clearly expressing me. While still discovering ways to open up more and do things differently, bit by bit. It's basically about allowing ourselves to make mistakes, explore, do things differently, not expecting results, not expecting a specific result. It's like if you plant a seed and you don't know what kind of seed it is, and you want watermelons, and you water it and you water it, and it starts sprouting, and months later it's a sunflower. You could get mad and say, God damn it, I wanted a watermelon. It's because the expectation was from the beginning. But if you know the seed is there to show you what it actually is, then the process is exciting. If you have that intention and knowing and understanding that it's not in your control, your deep self will show you what's in there. Our heads want to control the outcome because we think we will get a certain experience, a feeling, something that will come from the result we think we want. We want a certain result because we think, maybe probably unconsciously, without knowing it, that it's going to bring something specific. Basically, a feeling, a good feeling. Many times it's just seeing a certain kind of art, being so inspired by it, and feeling like, well, if I could do something like that, then I would have that same feeling and then have the satisfaction that I made it. But perhaps that's not you. Perhaps you're just meant to see that style of art and be just excited by it and allow yourself to be fully and deeply affected by it to the point that you're fulfilled and satisfied just seeing it. Like, wow, look at that. Amazing. Like looking at a beautiful flower or something in nature. Amazing. I can't make that. I can't get pregnant by a wolf and make a beautiful wolf or a tiger. Just gotta look at it and be amazed by it, right? Can't stick a rose seed in my ear and expect it to grow out and then give myself credit for it. Same thing with art. That's the problem I think a lot of us have, because I know I've had it. That was the frustration of my learning experience. Often just being inspired by somebody's graffiti, feeling the emotion expressed in it and connecting with it, feeling like some part of me knew I want to express that in some way. Now we could take that excitement to want to express and work towards learning skills and just learning how it works and giving it so much time, patience, and having fun with the experience, trying to enjoy the experience, trying to have a positive perspective by realizing, okay, every little thing I'm doing, I'm learning. This is just like a scientist discovering everything for the first time. A chemist putting ingredients together and going, wow, look at that, look at this, taking notes. Not saying you should take notes, because just experience it. That's basically what I like to do, give perspectives to inspire you to see there's so much more. Such a different way to look at it, that you can look at it for your own sake. Why are we doing what we do? When we get down to that, and we get down to what we really want, what's behind the desire for the specific outcome, then we can be open to what comes. It's like the thing with the watermelon. We might think we want a watermelon because we're thirsty, and we're like, well, I want a watermelon because I'm thirsty, hypothetically. You don't get that watermelon, and you're like, oh my god, I'm dying of thirst. Well, maybe the thirst will be quenched some other way, right? There's water somewhere. We can get our thirst quenched for the things that we cannot seem to get ourselves by other sources. And possibly we will eventually be able to get that thing we want. But meanwhile, we can be satisfied with what's there. Be satisfied with where you're at. Appreciate where you're at. If there's a reason for it. Nobody was born a master. Few people, masters from the get-go. Mozart, whatever, those guys. Most of us aren't them. Some part of us has that ability somewhere, but it's clouded. For anyone who struggles and thinks they're just not an artist, but they just got this inkling you want to be able to free your mind by experiencing, creating something, and not doing things the way you do it rigidly and orderly in your day-to-day life or at work. Yes, you really need art, because being so rigid and robotic, it's just not is. In those situations, we're not fully experiencing the potential of life, and I'm certainly still not fully experiencing it, and I got more to go myself. And as I'm learning and exploring, I'm doing that service to myself so that I can keep sharing that gift with everyone else. And that is my intention. My intention has been to walk a path towards happiness and fulfillment and learn the way there and share it so others can be happy. So this might not be just videos about art, and actually it hasn't been already. I've touched on other topics, and art is just an avenue to explore certain aspects. We might not want to become a professional artist to have it as a career, but the practice of it, the experience of it, translates into our life in very profound ways. Just as the discipline of being a martial artist, having the discipline of learning how to be powerful and be able to hurt somebody, but the humility and nobility to hold that sacred and not misuse it and use it for good, etc., etc. Harnessing that kind of power and then allowing that to empower us in a more managed, controlled, peaceful manner. We're learning acting, not to be a star and be admired, but practice acting to learn to be in touch with different parts of ourselves so that we can share that with others and learn to communicate and have different sorts of exchanges with people so that we're not limited by the same old way that we communicate and relate. And all these things translate through any form of art or anything. It just matters the perspective we take while doing it, practicing it. Are we being willful and just wanting something, or because I want it? Like, I want to be famous because I felt ignored when I grew up and I just want fame. I want to just be admired. Or do I realize that superficial things like that will never make me happy? And maybe I don't exactly know how I'm going to be fulfilled, but I know it's got to be some other way. And that fulfillment will come from getting in touch deeper and deeper and deeper with the purest parts of ourselves and learning how to express that in the clearest way so that we feel satisfied that, yes, this is who I am. Such as making a painting that is just beautiful to us. That's an expression of something in me. Look at that. It's like making a baby. Amazing. Look at it. Don't you love my baby? Isn't my baby amazing? Yes? Well, thank you. You're telling me I'm amazing then. Thank you. I love that. That is the basic idea and feeling, I believe. And in terms of looking at art, what should art do when you look at it? Should you be thinking? Should it be evoking things in you? And I don't believe so. I don't think so. I think more wisdom and understanding comes from silence, such as meditation or epiphanies. Mostly being in silence. Silence brings wisdom. Thinking about things, just spinning around little wheels in there. Feeling quietly. That brings insight. Calm, gentle, grounded insight. Can you look at a painting and be so silent that you can feel an emotion? Just be taken by it without it having to make you think? And not to say that there isn't something that might make you trigger something, a thought after, but the feeling should come first. Otherwise, if the thought comes first, the feeling is being manipulated by your filter rather than connecting through the emotion by allowing it to just land. I felt this for the first time looking at paintings of the Himalayan mountains that were painted with tempera paint, which now generally is what kids use to paint. There was some sort of beautiful, gentle feeling. It was like I could feel what the immense amazement and beauty and calm that the artist felt being there, that he just wanted to capture. Like, you look at something, you look at a beautiful thing and you wish you could just like draw it. It's like I could feel that. And then the first time it happened for me was when I was with somebody who's very in touch with himself. So being in his presence somehow got me resonating on that level where my mind and my body got still and quiet to a level where I was so present. I was just looking, and all of a sudden I felt things looking at a painting. And at the Metropolitan Museum, I looked at a portrait of a man, such despair in his eyes. I looked at him, I started crying. I didn't know why, I'd never had that experience. It looked so real. You could feel the pain in him. And then I read the details, and he had a very, very tragic life. Somehow that artist was able to be so in touch with the art, that man's experience, that he captured it through oil paint. How do you do that? How do you do that? Well, they say artists are crazy, right? We're freaking crazy because we're so in touch with all these dark parts of ourselves that most of society doesn't want to be, because most people don't want to be. It's not common knowledge of how to deal with it, so we're just like overwhelmed and dealing with all this stuff, and we need to channel it. That's why we got art. We're trying to channel that. But being able to be with all these feelings, then we can understand somebody else's experience. We can understand more people's experiences than most people can. So we could look at a super dark soul and just, rather than being like, oh my God, what's wrong with this person? We look at it and go, yeah, I know how it feels. Wow. You know, empathy. And somehow you want to share that. And a painter might share that by and honor that experience and give it a blessing in a way by painting it, putting it permanently on canvas.